Welcome to the Spirituality and Business Interview Series. I am here with the wonderful Ambila Nath. Now, Ambila is a coach who helps women to remove their blocks and trust the flow. She goes beyond the surface to the root to address what's really causing the blocks rather than just putting a bandaid on top. So I'm so happy to have you with us today, Ambila. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you so much, Zach, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. You kind of summed up everything when you did a wonderful introduction. I do work predominantly with women, and it is taken me a while to kind of get to, I suppose, the area where I'm happy with working with women. And that's why it's kind of specific when I say I go beyond the surface to the root. Because from my own experience, when you're coaching somebody and you're just giving them the tools to get through the day, but you're not actually helping them to remove whatever challenge it is, that they're facing, it kind of felt like a waste. So that niche has taken a long time to develop and for me to get conscious of it and go, actually, yes, this is what I do and this is what I want to do. So yeah, I think my kind of catchphrase, USB catchphrase, whatever you want to call it, sums it up, that it is all about going beyond the surface and really getting to the root so that they can make those changes they need.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's really powerful, and it is so important to really dig in and go a bit deeper. So this is, of course, spirituality and business. So can you tell us a little bit about your spiritual path? Like, do you identify with any particular labels?
My spiritual path has evolved and changed as I have. So if you had asked me that question when I first started the business, it would have been completely different to what it is today. Today, my spiritual path is about going with the flow. And that is probably one of the hardest things to do, even as a coach. It's still a work in progress for me. Absolutely. Because it's all about trusting. Yeah. It's about trusting the universe, trusting the uncertainty, and trusting when challenges come that you're not comfortable with, that it's going to be okay. So it's been a huge part. And in that kind of transition phases, I've realized that when I'm actually in flow, things are far more simpler, things happen far more quickly, and with least effort. And I've heard that phrase so many times, least effort, just trust it. But I swear to God, it still tests me every time. But it's true. Everything that's meant to be happens with the least amount of effort, because I think I don't have an attachment to it.
Yeah, that's very powerful. As you said, it's tests us every time, and it's not an easy skill to master. So thank you so much for sharing that. I know that's a really valuable thing for people to hear and see someone effectively implementing. So can you tell us a bit about how your spirituality has impacted your business?
That, I think when you sent me the questions, I said that was a great question, because it's been testing. I'll be very honest, because when I first started coaching, it was very much practical and logic based. It's not that I wasn't spiritual. I always have been spiritual, but I struggled with the identity and what people would think of me, and how do I merge the two so that I offer a service I'm comfortable with, that people will accept, and that ultimately would get me clients and make me money. but majorly, it was all orientated around how do I, if I use the phrase, come out and be accepted and not be looked at, as being, I don't know what you want to class it, as being weird, as being spaced out, hippie, you know, whatever word you want to use to describe it. And yeah, that journey in itself has been quite a long challenge.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that with us. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey? You know, how has growing your business been, as a spiritual person, been different to like the more mainstream business advice that we've seen?
Well, when I was doing the mainstream, because that's where I started from, it was very logic based, very based around what I thought people needed and wanted, what I thought would make me instant money.
Yeah.
Not necessarily make me happy, because it's generic. It's not what motivates me or touches my heart or ignites that passion of coaching. Because coaching in itself isn't just about, you've got to be passionate about it, but you've got to be passionate about what you're coaching on. And when I started with the generic, which I want to kind of say like confidence building, come and find yourself, yeah, move your life forward, make those changes, you know, all of that kind of a thing. It was based on skills I had. And I knew I could do it. I had proved it time and time again. But it wasn't igniting the true passion. So when you're doing it again and again with clients and stuff, you get into a rut. And it was beginning to feel like a chore and not a, oh my God, I've got a client and this is going to be exciting. It was like, oh, okay, let's go through this. And that's when I started going, yeah, something needs to give, something needs to change. But then on the other spectrum, behind the scenes, I had the spirituality where I had a different identity, and where I was learning and embracing and maybe opening up to trusting in my own abilities and intuition. And somewhere along that path, maybe a year, 2 years in, the two began to conflict. Not in the work that I was doing, but within myself. And I was going, but this is who I am as well. And I wasn't being my whole self. I was being a percentage in front of coaching, and then I was being a percentage in my life there. And I'm thinking, I'm not being my true self. And to be my true self, I need to be okay that people around me, and this was also relating to family and friends. So it wasn't just about my clients, but also kind of saying completely to my family and friends, this is who I am. You know, this is what I can do. This is what I have been doing. And feeling okay in them accepting me. So life threw huge amounts of challenges, especially last year. And I think it was within that journey that I went, and the more I was talking and getting comfortable on a one-to-one with people, that's family, friends, not so much clients, and coming out and telling them about what I do and what I can do, they were actually embracing it and excited. Nobody viewed me. Yeah, it was amazing. And nobody viewed me as if we need to cut her out of our lives. This person is just, you know, wacky. But they were really supportive and happy, and I think that gave me the confidence to go, you know what, I can actually do this. I can merge this into my business and be okay with it. And I have to say, in terms of the merge, that only happened at the beginning of this year. So yeah, it's not that I wasn't using those skills when I was coaching people, but I wasn't being 100% honest with them that I was using those skills. But as soon as I kind of embraced it myself, I started attracting the people that fully wanted it and were fully curious about it, and not so much the ones who questioned it or, you know, didn't like it or whatever, because then they went to other coaches, you know, who they could relate to, which was absolutely fine. And as a result, I've noticed that the business sector I always shied away from. only because, again, it was somewhere I had come from, very head orientated, very logic, high fives, let's band-aid everything. And then, yeah, we'll be happy. We've kind of ticked a box. But for me, that's not the way I wanted to coach. So I never went out to that market. I tried at the beginning because I thought, oh, instant money, but actually I got bored. But then this summer, I started attracting businesses.
Oh, wow.
Because they were intrigued by what I do. And it was because they had got to know me that they were fully wanting to embrace and, I suppose, open up to that opportunity. That because a lot of what I do is still very practical based, but it's also giving them the knowledge to know that actually this is how it engages it on the spiritual side. So I was able to kind of show both sides of the coin to them.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's been quite eye-opening this year.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I especially love that you shared about how you opened up to your friends and family more and just got positive responses, because I know that for many people, that's one of the biggest fears is, how will the people around me respond? Could I lose my loved ones and all of that? So thank you so much for sharing all of that. It's so powerful.
Thank you. I think, coming out to people and showing your complete self is a huge journey, and it's also a lot to do with your own self-worth and how you perceive yourself. I don't think it's so much about how others perceive you, it's how you perceive yourself. And until I had fully accepted that this is a part of me and this is who I am, nobody else was going to. And one of the things I am noting is that as development is happening more and more, people are becoming more aware and embracing spirituality, what it means, development, self-worth, belief, all of those kind of energy, all of those kinds of things. So I think in accepting it, that this person is spiritual and has these abilities and has these skills, is a lot more acceptable than maybe it would have been 10 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. Yeah.
So I think, that definitely helped the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for sharing all that with us. It's a really amazing journey that you've been on. So what would you consider, like, I know that you told us a lot about your journey and some of the difficulties, but what would you really consider like the top 2 challenges you've had as an entrepreneur who has a very strong spiritual path?
Acceptance in myself. And then how do I make money from it? What skills, knowledge, package, niche, what do I create that is fully acceptable to me and something that people will benefit from? So for me, the struggle, once I kind of accepted that, okay, this is who I am, then it became about, so what do I put out there? What is it that I want to coach people in? What do I want to help them with? Because yourself as a coach, that it's as wide as the sea or the ocean, in the sense of what you can go down. And so that was always the I think major challenge I had, of getting really clear in myself of what it was that I wanted to put out there for people. And as I said, that kind of punchline USB that came to me, I think, while I was just about to drift to sleep. And I remember waking up, grabbing a pen and paper, going, I must write this down, I'll forget it in the morning. Because it was just simple and catchy. I'd spent probably the whole day scribbling on a paper, going through about, oh, this works, no, that doesn't sound right, this and as soon as I switch off, literally switch off, it decides, yes, this is what you need to be doing. And I'm like, quick. So it was, and it just kind of captured it, in the essence of what yeah, I want to be all about and what I want to be known for. That, you know, it is about going beyond the surface, because all of our challenges, problems, beliefs, whatever we want to call them, are deep rooted. They didn't start yesterday. They started, you know, generations, decades, whatever you want to call them, ago. And it's getting to the heart of that, so that you're stopping the repetitiveness, you're stopping those negative patterns, and you're able to fully embrace it and go, okay, fine, I've dealt with it, now I'm going to move forward. So so that was my major challenge. What do I do? How do I put the two together to do something that I'm excited about?
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And I know that's a challenge for a lot of people, for coaches in general, and for spiritual entrepreneurs in general. Like, yeah, it's you can help so many people with so many things. Aside from, you know, sleeping on it. Do you have any advice for people? Like, was there anything else that really helped you connect those dots and find something that really felt good?
Great question. I don't think I'd ever thought about it, because it's been a gradual evolvement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think as a coach, you're constantly working on yourself.
Yeah, you are.
Whether you're working with a coach or whether you're working independently as yourself, you are constantly analyzing your journey. Mm-hmm. I am one of those people, through personal as well as business. I'm constantly tweaking. Yeah. So if I put something out there, giving a business example, if I put something out there and it hasn't kind of had the attention that I hoped for, or people have gone, sorry, I don't understand, then I'm like, oh, okay, I need to tweak it. I don't do a 360 degree change. Mm-hmm. I just go, okay, I need to tweak it, because I've got the basics, but that particular message didn't come out the way I intended, so I tweak it. So, and I applied the same thing with my personal life, that if something happens within it, then I'm like, okay, why did that happen? Why am I reacting in such a way? Why am I, you know, X, Y, and Z? And then I'm kind of tweaking that, going, oh, okay, I need to change that. I need to change my thinking. I need to change my belief. Maybe I need to change my behavior. Or maybe I just need to let go of that situation because it didn't work. So it might not actually be anything to do with me, but it might actually be a message to say, you know what, you just need to let it go. Walk away. This isn't meant to be for you. And it's knowing when to walk away.
Yeah.
And knowing when to move forward, and being okay with that. Because I think a lot of us tend to hold on and keep going, no, but I'm going to make it work. I've got this commitment. I'm going to make it work. Yeah. And yes, to an extent. And I'm not applying this to relationships, because of course, you know, we want to put our all in and we want to do the best we can before we give up.
Yeah.
But in any degree, whether it's business related, whether it's personal related, you have to come to a point where you think, I need to walk away. And that in itself is a strength, you know, to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So, so for me, it's always about adapting. Mm-hmm. It's always about changing, because that's the way life flows. Yeah. And if you're not adapting and changing, then I think you kind of get stuck.
Yeah.
So it's all about movement.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I know that for a lot of entrepreneurs, like, there's this really strong idea of, you know, like, never give up, like, just keep going at it, keep pushing and pushing yourself and making it work. And I also know that, as you said, sometimes we do have to reach a point where we walk away. Sometimes we're, you know, pounding on the wrong door and we need to stop and find the right door. In your experience, like, do you have any advice on how to recognize when it's time to walk away versus when, you know, you're giving up on something prematurely? Because I know a lot of, like, I know in my own experience, and for many people I've known, there have been times that I kind of felt like I needed to walk away, but I felt like giving up, and so I couldn't really bring myself to do it.
I'm 100% with you on that one, because there have been times when I felt I wanted to walk away from coaching, and I thought, oh, this is just too much. I'm not making any money. This is just getting to me, and I must be doing something wrong. Maybe my skills are wrong. Everybody else is, making it work, and I'm struggling. So I must have something wrong with me.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been there.
But then, yeah, exactly, multiple times probably.
Yeah.
But what I found was that two ways of recognizing it. The first is, and again, this is a generic thing, so it can apply to personal as well as business. When you are getting something which keeps coming back into your life with the least amount of effort, but it's obvious effort, that, you shut the door and it keeps coming back. You shut the door and it keeps coming back. Then that's probably a signal that you need to be doing something with it, but on a positive. So it's only if it's coming back to you, but with positives. Not that if it's coming back to you with negatives, that's not something you should be holding on to. It's only because, for me, the times when I thought, that's it, I'm giving up coaching, I've had enough, it's not going anywhere, I'm going to change professions, I'm going to go back and get a full-time job, and I'll be so happy and everything. And then all of a sudden, the clients are coming in, the queries are coming in, somebody's going, oh, do you want to do a talk for me? Do you want to do this for me? And you're like, why weren't you there before? And then you kind of stop, looking for the jobs, or looking for, what you shouldn't be doing, and go, okay, this is where I'm meant to be. But then on the other side, if it was the negative, i.e., how do you know when to walk away from something? It's very much earlier on, when I started coaching, a lot of what I was coaching wasn't spiritual based. It was logic based and practical based.
Yeah.
And I kept on knocking on doors. I was literally knocking on doors, aiming to get clients. I was doing every online webinar course, following the coaches who had made it, and amazing coaches, and following everything they were doing, and it just was not happening. And it wasn't due to my skills, it was what I was putting out there. Because I didn't have a passion for it, and because it wasn't what I was meant to be doing, I was not getting the clients, I was not getting the people who cared about it, there was no interest coming in. But I kept at it. I was like, no, I tweak it. I know it's got to be this. So, okay, let's do another course, logic related, and then put that out. And it's got to be that. And I think when you kind of keep on doing that, and you're not getting the response, it's all negative that's coming in or not coming in, then you kind of have to take a step back. And that's probably the hardest thing to do. Kind of go, you know what, I just need to step back, and I need to reanalyze everything I'm doing. And that in itself is a growth, because when you are getting all of that negative, if you kind of see and take a step back, you will realize that actually you've been growing during that time, because you've been learning yourself. But it's whether you've been picking up the signals or not. And it's only when you take a step back that you maybe start to have the aha moments. So kind of coming back to what my coaching is all about, going with the flow, that's what it kind of leads on to. And I think that's where my path has been. That it's only when you step back and you kind of stop banging your head, stop trying to force things to happen, and go, this is the direction that I want to go in. I'm going to put all of my effort, and you have to put action. It's not about sitting there wishing for it. You have to take the actions and steps. And then when it starts to come back, then you're like, yeah, this is what it's meant to be, because it's least effort.
Yeah.
But when you're constantly banging on doors like I was before, and nobody's caring, nobody's picking up, nobody's inviting you to things and all of that, that's when you think, okay, I need to walk away. This isn't good. If it's making you ill, if it's stressing you out, it's not a positive.
Yeah, absolutely. And like for my own, one of the ways I can tell that like either I need to walk away or at minimum like I need to change things is that sense of ill or like a dread and just not like just sitting down to work and thinking I shouldn't be doing this. Those are some of the things that would come up.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as I'm pretty sure, it applies to yourself and other coaches and anybody else who's working for themselves.
Yeah.
There'll be a degree of stuff within the business that we absolutely have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I love what you're doing now. I love that connection. I love talking to people. I love moving forward, all of that kind of thing. I hate the administration side. I hate the background side. I would love to pay somebody, else to do that so I can do more of what I want to be doing. And one day I will. Yeah. But it's knowing that that's not something I can walk away from as much as I'd like to. So it's kind of knowing the elements of what you walk away from and what is just the natural progression, of action that needs to happen. So it's about being sensible and having common sense.
Yes. Combining the common sense with your intuition and your body signals.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
No, I was just about to say intuition for everybody is different. It comes to us in different signals and in different ways. For me, sometimes it's that little push in myself, like a little voice. They'll go, just go out there. Or pick up that phone, right now. And you can ignore it because you kind of go, no, but it's cold. I'm not going out there. It's -2. But then if you had stepped out there, you might have bumped into somebody who, could progress your life or change it or, do something. But because you went, no, it's cold. I'm not putting that coat on, and you stayed in, you can miss an opportunity. And there's been so many instances that, that has happened. And for other people, intuition is very much a feeling they have inside, which again, I also have a combination of. And it's learning to trust that. Yeah. And sometimes it might be just something really minor that I had, just a very simple generic example. Just the other day, my water bottle I was literally walking out the door and, my intuition went, take the water. And I'm like, no, it'll be fine. I'll just get it when, wherever I'm going, I'll pick a bottle up there. And the journey was long. And all of a sudden I became thirsty. And I'm like, oh God, I should pick up that water. So, something simple as that. So it's kind of getting out of your own way and trusting that and, feeling that actually that's okay. And that's a work in progress.
Yes, definitely. And I find that it's helpful to start out with the trusting the smaller things. So like when it says go grab that water bottle, it's not a life or death situation, exactly. And so even just noticing, oh, I wish I had it, I guess I should have listened, that's one of the ways we can build up that muscle, which is really helpful.
Exactly. It is. It's just about getting out of your own way and beginning to believe there's something else, and maybe that something else is there to help you. Yeah. As I said, for me, certainly it's still a work in progress because I have so many doubts all the time. But
and I think it's a work in progress for absolutely everyone. I mean, it seems like once you reach a level where you're comfortable, you get nudged up to the next level and you have to get all right back to it.
Completely, because you're always evolving and you're always being pushed out of your comfort zone. Yes. So you're right that you reach, you do one level, then you're like, yay, great. Excuse me, life should be easy and everything. And then you get to the next level and you think, oh, okay. Because each time you're actually working through your own belief, working through your own restrictions and, the restrictions that maybe you've subconsciously absorbed by watching others or your upbringing or, whatever it may be. But it takes time. And I think it's a journey right up until the end. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. I think so as well. So I know you have something that you'd want to share with us all. Before we talk about that, is there anything else you'd like to say?
I'd like to say to all the people who will be watching this, thank you so much, first of all, Zach, for the opportunity you've given me. And everyone else out there, trust in yourself. I think a lot of, as we grow up, what a lot of people subconsciously and maybe consciously knock that out of us.
Yeah.
And make us second guess ourselves, make us believe that we're doing things wrong. And it's learning to trust your own self and your own decisions and what you want to create from your own life, because that in itself is a huge thing. Nobody knows you better than you know you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the things I said in one of my past videos is that always seek advice from people. That's a really nice thing, but never their permission. Do not give somebody control and seek their permission to do something in your life. Seek advice, that's always a good thing, but make that decision for yourself, because ultimately you know the path you want to walk, and you know your ethics and who you are and whether that sits well with you or not. So so really trust yourself. That would be my major thing that I would say. And when you begin to trust yourself, then going with the flow becomes a lot more easier, because you're not second guessing, you're not questioning, you're not putting barriers up where barriers don't exist.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's very powerful and very important for everyone to hear. All right. So I know that you wanted to share about your business. I know we can find you at ambilanath.com, and there's going to be a link to that below this video for everyone who wants to check it out. Tell us a little bit about what you'd like to share today.
Within my website, I have a 7-level program.
Oh, wow.
It's comes in different tiers, but because I started my journey this year to fully embrace myself, and part of that journey was working through the chakras. Again, it is a work in progress. It's never that you start from the base and then you go to the top. You're kind of going whoop, up, down, middle, down, up, right. So it's never a 1 level, 2 level, 3 level journey. I've created a simple program that covers those levels, and everybody has to start at the basic. There's no way I'm going to start coaching you and start at level 5 or something else. Everyone has to start from the basic, and the basic is basically your root chakra, which is all about your stability and who you are as a person and fully accepting yourself. Because if you don't have that base, then nothing else in your life is going to set, nothing else in your life is going to come together. So I would like people to have that awareness that these tools and skills exist, and it's tried and tested. I'm not promoting it, back end of not knowing what I do or don't do. But I would love for people to just go there on my website, ambilanath.com, check out the program, and come back to me with lots of questions. I would love it, because questions help me to evolve. They probably help me to think of things maybe I hadn't thought of. Because a lot of this is coming from my clients' experience, my own experiences, but then there's always other experiences. So I absolutely embrace questions. But I would love people to just go and check that out and see if that program is for them, and contact me. And also I do, like Zach, a lot of videos as well. So check out my YouTube channel, ambilanathtv.com, but the link is all on my website and everything. So a lot of everything I do is on the website and will be directed elsewhere.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. Again, the link is below the video, so you can check that out now. And thank you again so much for taking the time to be here and sharing all of that with us today. It's been so valuable and so helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Zach, for having me tonight. And thank you guys for watching and giving me your time.
Yeah, so yeah, everyone just have a fantastic day. Thank you.